Hello everybody, it is Nile here once again with another pitching breakdown for July 7th, 2022. It was my summer game number 3, or start number 3 I should say, for my Bloodline Pride team. And honestly, it was a little bit of a shaky start. I was expecting to do a little bit better, and that wasn't the case, but that happens. And so we're going to break it down first by my written breakdown, and then we'll go over my video breakdown. A quick note too, for my video breakdown is I'm only doing 2 batters today, a lefty and a righty batter, a walk, and then a strikeout, just to kind of show where I've been at. And also I wanted to do this just because I don't feel like I should have a 10-minute video of me going through every single one of my pitches, because a lot of it is the same thing, where I'm doing good mechanically and where I'm not. So with this, where I limit it to 2 at-bats, is I can really focus on where my placement is and all that good stuff, and it just helps me break it down more. And like I said, I'm just experimenting with that stuff. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into my written breakdown. This was very interesting to say the least. There were a lot of exciting factors and situations that I hadn't been used to being in for some period of time, which I think is one of the main reasons why I struggled. Coming off a really strong outing in my previous appearance, I think signaled a needed wake-up call, to make sure I maintain my focus and not let an outing slip like that again. Nonetheless, the reason for writing this stuff down and analyzing my pitching will help me be better and continue to assert the dominance I know I have. So let's go into some negatives that I had. I had a tough preparing week. I never really thought I'd say this after a start, but when I really sat down and thought about how the week prior to my start went, I think it lacked a decent amount, which can contribute to the non-successes I had. It wasn't that I didn't do everything that I wanted to or not do it 100% or fully extended. I just felt off. Sometimes you have those weeks or days, rather, where your body is just off and you have to find ways to adjust and overcome. I wasn't able to do that, but I think moving forward, when I feel a similar situation, I need to find a way to dig deep and be effective once again. My command wasn't great. I struggled with my command a lot this time. I haven't really digested the film that much, but I have an idea that I wasn't finishing well at all, which finishing actually correlates to determining if I have success or not for most of the period of time. As well as I don't think my driving on my backside was very effective as well. As I said, I think my body was just off this week, and I'm trying to dig deep and find the root causes for that, so it doesn't happen again, or at least anytime soon. I'd also be curious to look at my arm angle, because I feel like I was all over the place with that too. There were a good amount of pitches, however, I thought hit the zone or were great spots that weren't called, which again is a part of the game and I need to adjust. Mechanics were off. Picking off what I said in my last section, my command really wasn't great, but I think a big reason why the command is off is that my mechanics aren't great either today. With my mechanics, the key to success, it all starts with my legs. If my legs are off, then the rest of my body tends to go off as well. I'll be curious to see, when I'm able to see the footage, where I went wrong with placements and all that jazz, including my lower half. The umpire had a small zone. Just a quick note, the umpire sucked. That has nothing to do with my failures. I just wanted to point out some of my pitches that were being there and not called. More than anything, to myself, it's just a reminder that I was almost there and I almost had tons of more success. In parentheses, sorry, just trying to make me feel better and keep my head held high. Also, I want to point out, you should never blame the umpire if you're hitting or pitching for your successes or not. Just didn't feel like myself. This is, I think, one of the most important things in general, to see where your successes are. You know your body more than anyone else, and therefore should know if you aren't feeling great when out there. That's the backwards arrow I put to that too. And I also parentheses that, because that's a very important note. That was me today. It happens. The key is being able to flush it and get it out of your system so it doesn't affect the rest of your outings moving forward. I'm already past that start and looking forward to next Thursday, when I'll be able to start again, hopefully, just because I'm dealing with a little bit of an arm issue. Positives. Got myself out of tough situations. Sometimes whenever I put myself in difficult positions, I have a hard time getting myself out of it. Today, however, I didn't. I actually put myself in some sticky situations, and for the most part was able to battle back, whether that was behind in the count or runners on base / scoring position. Sometimes when you have a rough outing or are struggling, it's hard to point out positives, but it's important to do so. That way you have something to look forward to and realize you're not a failure, but rather are going through a difficult patch. This was actually one of the highlights of the day, was getting myself out of tough situations. Now granted, it wasn't like I was a relief pitcher coming into a tough situation. I was putting them in myself. I was walking people, giving up hits, whatever, bases loaded, 0-1 out, but I was getting out of it, and I'm pretty sure I only gave up 2 earned runs through 4 innings. So I did enough to do, with my not having my best up, I was able to do enough and get myself out of tough situations, which is huge. And then the final positive I put was I never gave up. Something that people will learn about me, if you haven't already, is that I never give up. I may be down and defeated, but I'll find a way to leave it there and give it my best shot no matter what. I'm not trying to boast or create a better image for myself, but rather help share a life lesson. There are times, many times as a matter of fact, I was done. I felt defeated and there was no place to get better or where I wanted to be. Realizing that there's life at the end of the tunnel was huge for me to get back and start moving forward in the right direction. Today was a similar situation. There were periods of time when I was down in the dust. I felt like not necessarily the world was collapsing on me, but I felt like I just hadn't done enough, and in a way I was a failure. Although I threw 98 pitches in 4 innings, walked 5, and struck out 5, I only managed to surrender 2 earned runs, which I think is something to be a little bit proud of. And then my closing. Shit happens. I've already moved on from my start by getting a good lift in this morning, and I know a good recovery session of throwing later in the day. I will try to focus extra hard on the task at hand this week and bounce back by going out there and dominating like I have been next Thursday. So that's just a written analysis of my pitching breakdown, which is something that I want to do a little bit more of. I find it, a way to kind of... Writing is always the best medicine, whether you're writing in hardship or positive note. It helps get a lot of stuff off your mind and kind of helps you tone in and realize what your areas of concern are, or today, for example, where I was lacking or where I had successes. And so that's why I write that. And I also have I write all these and I put them in my new pitching binder. That way I can look at these either throughout the week or when I start and really hone in and focus on, the task at hand, which I think is something that a lot of people should start doing more and more of. But anyways, guys, let's take a look at some of my pitches here and a pitching breakdown and go from there. So let's take a look here and see where the pitching landed. So we're going to start off with a left-handed batter. This is Sebastian Tomerlin, went to Green Creek High School. Very good player, very fast, very agile. This first pitch here is a little late. It's kind of hard to just get a gist of mechanics. So let's watch this first pitch real quick. Okay, so it's a ball outside on the cutter. Like I said, my dad's kind of started the video a little bit late, which is fine, so we can't really get an initial starting because this is where we start here. But 0-0 count. I believe I tried throwing a cutter on the outside corner. Looking at my body here in the top right, it looks like relatively good mechanics. The front leg here is something I'm going to have an area of concern. Oops, let me try to... Okay. You see how this leg is kind of diagonal? It is diagonal. Hopefully I want it to be straight. If you can imagine an imaginary line right here. I think if I'm able to get this leg to become straight, I definitely think that's going to help me with power, because when I cross my body like this, it really just looks like I'm losing power and I'm not able to push forward and get success here, which also could lead to some control issues as well. My finishing, I think relatively was fine. Ball releases right here, so a little bit behind on where I want it to. But arm goes through, leg goes through, head stays up, all that stuff. I just throw it a little bit too high. So, pitch right there. I threw it a little bit too high. Big deal. It's 1-0 now. Let's see where I go here in the second pitch. So that one just missed inside. I believe that was a fastball. And this is actually huge. This is one of those situations where it most likely wasn't a strike. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it wasn't a strike. A little bit high and in. But this is a good pitch right here. It really is, because you might get that call, but also you're kind of establishing the inside corner. Okay, that's obviously in and a little bit up. I know as a lefty, if I'm hitting and I face a lefty that throws high and in, I have to be wary of the inside pitch, and therefore I have a better ability to hit the outside. So I'm down 2-0 in the count, but honestly, I'm not really that upset because I've thrown 2 relatively decent pitches. This one was definitely not as good as the other one. See how it's high a little bit? That's fair. I should have gotten that a little lower. But it was on the outside corner, and now I just threw one on the inside corner. And it was a fastball. I mean, I'm not going to keep going over the leg, but you can see how the leg's still crossed. It's actually a little more straight than the last one. This one is way more bent, I'd say, or crossing your body, which is maybe why this pitch is a little bit closer to the strike zone. But, I mean, that's actually a really good standing ground right here, I think. one of the things too is I sometimes collapse in the front leg here and I bend my leg, which is definitely something you don't want to do. So I'm able to kind of stand up here, and overall it was a very good pitch. I'm very pleased, even though it was a ball. So now we're down 2-0 to Tomerlin. This is a good hitter, by the way. Sorry, this pitch is a little hard to tell just because the net was moving with the wind, and my dad was trying to film, so no worries there. But this is a 2-0 pitch. I don't really know what I want to throw him because he is a good hitter. He's one of the best hitters in high school in Arizona. I just don't really want to throw him anything good. I don't want to throw him a really good pitch, so I'm going to try to avoid that. Let's see what I do here. Actually, let's just play full speed. What am I doing? That was a cutter. Okay, so I threw a cutter 2-0. Very pleased with that. Location, everything was great. Let's take a look at the mechanics. Okay, good up, balance point. See where I'm right here. I sometimes wonder if I get a little bit too high, but I feel like getting high really helps me drive. It's kind of hard to tell the drive, but I drop. I have a good drop right here. Legs good, scap. Front legs still kind of crossed. Ball. Release is like right there. That's honestly right where I want the ball to release. You see how kind of now when I'm releasing the ball out in front here, it's a little bit later than when I release the ball. Instead of back here, the success I have just because I'm finishing and following through. Anyways, I throw a cutter right here in the outside corner, and that's perfect right there. It is 2-1 now, which is a very good pitch and a very good count. So 2-1. Yep, so I challenged him with a fastball. I did kind of put a little bit of zip on this one, I think. It was probably like 83, which isn't really too much zip. But I threw 2 straight cutters, and so, with that being a little slow, I was able to kind of gas him up a little bit here, and I challenged him too. It's pretty much center cut, maybe a little bit inside. I don't know if he's expecting a slider, I don't know if he's expecting a cutter, or he just was late on the fastball. All of those could apply. Good balance point, relatively good drive. Right here, you see where I just sink? Look at my body, just sink. That's where I want to be. Obviously, I'd love to sink a little bit lower and sit more this way compared to this way, because if I'm able to sit back as long as I can, that helps me with driving, which is something for some reason I like brain fart every time I'm doing. So anyways, a good pitch here, release point, relatively good. A little bit back on where I wanted the release point, but it's still around the same point. And overall pretty good. I think I extend my leg pretty good. Let's see here. Don't really know what this leg's doing right here. I could look a little more athletic, and I really wish I start tucking my glove more because I feel like I have more command when I tuck my glove. So a lot of things there interesting, but it was a good good 1-strike pitch. So now I have him 2-2. I don't remember, without looking back at this footage here, I don't remember what I pitch here. If I were to go back on it, I'd probably go slider. Actually, you know what? I tried to go fastball in because he was late on the fastball. So I'm going to try to blow another one by him and inside too. So let's see what I do here. Let's just watch it first. I believe I went with a cutter. If you see here. Yeah, so I go with the cutter here on 2-2. That's a pitch I want back because I end up walking this guy, and he just flailed on a fastball, went right by him. So why would I try to speed up his bat speed by going with a cutter? I'm not really sure what I was doing there. But you live and you learn. So, okay, so we go with the cutter now. It's 3-2. Let's take a look at mechanics here. I'm at. The cutter was a little bit off today. I don't really know why. I think it was more of a mentality thing. Really good overall kind of jam right here. Good leg. Boom. I think really too, I want to keep this body. See how my body is facing this way? I want to keep that straight that way as long as I can. See how I kind of just like, so let me just, I'm up here. Good leg drive. And right when I land, it's kind of when I want to just boom, turn those hips. Right here. That's where I want to just boom, turn those hips and boom. Again, glove is not even close to being tucked. Foot is doing the same position right here. So, I mean, not really bad. Let's take a look at the arm slot, see where it was. The arm slot was always, I should have added that to my notes, but arm slot was all over the place yesterday. I don't really know why. I need to be more consistent with that. Okay, I think this is where I released the ball. It's more right here. Remember I said I want it to be more right here where I've had other success? And I remember when I did that last pitch where I was right here, when I was in front and I threw a strike, I said, I don't want to throw the ball when it's right here. But I still did, and I threw it right there. Therefore, it was just a little bit low. Honestly, it's not a bad 2-strike pitch with it cutting. It just was a little bit low, and especially in 2-2, I want to make it a little bit more competitive because that wasn't very competitive. So now we got it in a 3-2 situation. Now I got to challenge him. And I do. I go with the fastball. Very good by him to foul that off. It was a little bit center cut, I believe. Let's see. Okay, it was a little inside, a little center cut. So he does foul it off. That's a very good pitch. But he's still late on it because he fouls it back. Even if he wants to say he's early, he's still late on it a little bit. And that should have been right there. I should have known. Okay, he's late on the fastball twice now. I should continue to go fastball. But I'm glad at least I challenged him right here in 3-2. And overall, mechanically, that's actually very good mechanically. This is exactly where I want to be mechanically for the most part. Release it a little out here. I wish I was a little more here. Front legs straighter than usual. Body's in. Gloves tucked in right now. Obviously, it flings out. And overall, it's a very good position right there. So now I'm back 3-2, and let's see what the payoff pitch is. Fastball up and in. That was just a bad pitch on 3-2. I need to be more competitive, especially on 3-2. If that's 0-2, that's still not even really that good unless he's really going to be chasing it high and inside. But it almost hits him in the face, and I believe I hit him later in the game. So you kind of get the message. Say here, good, 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 drive. Where do I release the ball? Okay, yeah, this is an issue right here. This is where I release the ball. Right here. That's not going to help me out very much. It's not even like it's right here. It's literally right here. It's like behind my head almost, and that's why the ball goes up and in. Alright, so anyways, that was my walk. This is a good one out of the stretch too. I think I'm going to get rid of my slide step stretch. A teammate brought up a good point. I am a lefty, so it's not like I need to have a slide step stretch. I can just do kind of like a knee to knee, so I don't know why I really do it. But anyways, let's take a look here at a good 5-pitch sequence for a strikeout. So this is out of the stretch too. Obviously, it's a later night here. Runner at first. Start first pitch, high fastball. This is let's see where, again, so right here, I don't really feel like I have any drive. Look, I just kind of, just like a little hinge. Leg's actually not bad. This kind of looks weird, the arm. Like, this just looks like a weird position. I want it to be more side. I think I was trying to go over the top there, and that was one of my issues. For some reason, I do that. Release the ball, like, right here. See how I release the ball right here where the slide is? Imagine the lights of the ball because it's about at the same spot. If I can bring it out here, that's why when I release it out here, it's like up here. But if I release it down there, it's usually in this area. When I release it up there like I did right there, it's usually in that area. But mechanically, that's fine. This is actually a decent position here. I want to keep this leg as straight as possible. It's a little bit bent, as you guys can tell. Gloves behind, knees doing a T-pose or whatever this is, a backwards L. I'm not too sure. But I do know that that's an area of improvement right there. Obviously, leg could be a little bit straighter. So 1-0. Started with a high one. I go with a little up here, and that was actually a good pitch. So I blew it by him. He was late on the fastball. Obviously, good quick balance point. It's not like my leg's up here and then I go. It's just a quick boom, boom. So I'm right there. Good drive. Good landing for the most part. Arm angle is kind of the same. Release it like right there. It's a little bit better, but you can see kind of even the subtle difference. It's not much, but it's a subtle difference. I still missed high, but you see where that light is and see where the ball is now. See how it's a little bit lower and how I ended up throwing it? Still high, but a little bit lower. That's a key note right there. Got the swing and the miss. That's huge. 1-1. I'd go back to the fastball here. I don't know what I do now or what I do here, but I would go back to the fastball. Okay. That reminds me. We're going to have to take a look at the swing real quick because this was called not a swing. But I ended up going with the cutter here to change the difference. Quick slide step, boom, boom, boom. Relatively good. It's still a little bit high, but a really good pitch right there. See how much that cuts right there? Okay, look at that swing. the bat is right here. How is that not a swing? So then the old fart over there is like, now swing. And we're like, what? But I was just laughing because I was like, literally watch this in fast motion and tell me that's not a swing. He literally crosses the whole plane. I'm like, please, he swung. But anyway, so now I'm down 2-1. I should be up 1-2. Go back here to the fastball, I believe. Yep, high again. Actually, really good arm angle right here. Really good arm slot. Right here, kind of a 3/4. I'm not behind my head. I'm not down here either. I'm right here. And honestly, a good release point. I believe I threw it a little bit up. I think that would have still been a strike regardless. But yeah, so really good pitch right there. And then to end things off, I go with another fastball, I believe. Yeah, another fastball because he hadn't obviously been able to catch up to it. Good, boom, boom. Let go of the ball like right here. Would have liked to maybe put out a little more in front, but it does the job, and that's a wrap. I think we're going to end this here. I appreciate that I appreciate you guys watching this pitching breakdown. If you guys would like to see a written breakdown of my start, I'll try to link that in the description down below. And if you guys want to check out my previous start where I was having an insane night, or an insane day, I'll try to link that as well. But it's also on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be trying to post these as much as I can. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you guys, and take care.